documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs, and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Nationwide.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us for NTA Nationwide. I'm Elizabeth Banu. And we begin this news bulletin on a sad note. Nigeria's former permanent representative at the United Nations and the Damasen Kano, Alhaji Yusuf Maitama Sule, is dead. Alhaji Maitama Sule died at a hospital in Cairo, Egypt, at the age of 88. Where he was flown for medical treatment. A diplomat, politician, and an orator of repute, the Damasen Kano was known for his nationalistic views at all times.
We were full of hope. Hope that Nigeria would take its proper place in the Committee of Nations. Hope that Nigeria would play her role as the leading nation in Africa. Hope that Nigeria would develop her resources and therefore develop her economy and improve the lot of the people. Hope that Nigerians would be decent, responsible, reliable people. Hope that Nigeria would be respected in the Committee of Nations and the reputation of Nigeria would be high. That was our hope.
History will never forget the man, Yusuf Maitama Sule, the Damasen Kano, for his outstanding role to what is today called Nigeria. This was reflected in his entire life as a nationalist, having served from pre to post-colonial era in various national engagements. In this special tribute, correspondent Abdullah Garabun Nkudu looks back on this man of honor.
The leaders at that time, as well as those of us that followed them, were, comparatively speaking, people who were patriotic, nationalistic. They went into politics to serve, but not to be served.
Alhaji Yusuf Maitama Sule, a man of his word who had been in national limelight right from pre-colonial to post-colonial era, his selfless service and contribution to national struggle and emancipation of the African spirit of development as a diplomat, politician and international orator brought much respect, dignity to Nigeria, as well as a guide to succeeding generation. Indeed, the Damasen was a social mobilizer of high repute right from the development of the Nigerian state.
Hospitals, adult education classes, schools, bridges and roads are all built and made for your own benefit.
The last British government.
Born in 1929, the Damasen Kano participated actively in national politics and had been part of the struggle of independence of Nigeria. His appointment as Minister of Mines and Power in 1959 and that of oil provided a platform for the development of Nigeria's oil and gas industry. This resulted in the Nigeria's membership in the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and the establishment of the National Oil Company, now known as NNPC. As an international orator and mobilizer, late Maitama Sule commanded respect at whatever occasion, which made him a mentor to all. As a politician, the late Damasen Kano left a mark as a believer of politics without bitterness, having conceded defeat to Alhaji Shehu Shagari as one of the aspirants in the 1979 presidential election of the National Party of Nigeria, NPN.
Not only did I concede him, but I also campaigned for him. I always believe in one thing: anybody that has an edge over me, age-wise, qualification-wise, or otherwise, I would give him that respect.
As Alhaji Yusuf Maitama Sule died, many believe his legacies will outlive him as a true nationalist that believed in the unity and indivisible entity of Nigeria.
Let us be our brothers' keepers.
In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
While a release by the Commissioner of Information, Kano State, Malam Muhammad Garba, says funeral prayers for the deceased will be conducted tomorrow, Tuesday, at the MS Palace, Kofar Kudu, by 4 p.m. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has declared tomorrow, Tuesday, work-free day in the state to mourn the death of the elder statesman. May Allah grant his soul eternal peace. And Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki has described the death of elder statesman Masan in Kano, Alhaji Yusuf Maitama Sule, as loss of a great nationalist. Saraki, in a statement by his special advisor, media and publicity, Yusuf Olaniyonu, described late Maitama Sule as a detribalized Nigerian who spoke truth to power at all times during his lifetime. As a mark of respect for the late Masan in Kano, Saraki urged Nigerians to toe the path of dialogue in addressing national issues and called on both the federal and Kano state governments to immortalize the great icon of peace and an advocate of justice and fairness. In other news, the 29th summit of the African Union is underway in Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo joined other heads of state and government at the General Assembly with the theme, harnessing the demographic dividend through investment in youth. He is also expected to discuss report on the institutional reform of the AU, peace and security reform at the United Nations Security Council, amongst other topical issues at the summit. The question of economic amnesty bill for looters came under focus on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria, where the need to strengthen existing anti-corruption laws was emphasized against what the panelists described as legitimizing corruption. Lydia Sampson reports.
Sponsor of the economic amnesty bill, Linus Okorie from Ebonyi State, says it is an effort to fast-track the recovery of looted funds frozen in different countries to boost the economy.
Because this is not just about money that are outside. It's also about money that are inside, and people who are not paying their tax. So the bill is about any form of money, whichever way, from any time we can remember, that you know as a legitimate person in Nigeria.
Representative Okorie said the bill is not only about amnesty for looters, but about cleaning the table, focusing on reality and thinking out of the box to rid the country of corruption. Other panelists, however, say much as the intentions of the bill are good, passing it is like surrendering to looters who already are manipulating the legal system.
I think that the intentions of the legislator, as stated, are noble, but the approach and the impact of the bill is calamitous.
We cannot hand over our lives into the hands of these looters and give up and say because, they are more powerful, and then we should just give up and hand over our whole system to them.
The judiciary, I think they have moral obligation to rise up to the occasion and not be seen to be actually very soft, on these looters.
The guest suggested that attention should be more on strengthening institutions that fight corruption to enable them perform optimally. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
An alternative dispute resolution mechanism and placing premium on the content of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 are issues the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogan, wants newly appointed judges and cadis to explore. Aliu Tukur quoted Justice Onogan at an induction course for the new benches, saying these will eliminate delays in the dispensation of justice.
The higher number of pending cases in Nigerian courts is making judicial officials to think of imbibing positive attitudes and ideas that will enhance administration of justice in the country. That explains the conduct of this induction course for the newly appointed judges and cadis to equip them for the challenges on the higher bench and to also expose them to judicial ethics, which are key to judicial excellence. While delays in court proceedings occasioned by unnecessary adjournment of cases and non-availability of accused persons or witnesses continue to pose challenges to the administration of criminal justice system, the Chief Justice of Nigeria says courts must insist on enforcement of the arbitration clause in matters of breach of contract. This, he said, will not only address delays but also prevent abusive recourse to courts.
You must hold yourself to a high and impeccable moral standard as provided by the Code of Conduct for Judicial Officers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Let me use this medium to caution you all to refrain and shun all forms of corrupt practices, bearing in mind the oath of office which you all swore to.
The induction course has participants from across the country and 9 newly appointed judges from the Gambia. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
A non-implementation of the principles of the tripartite agreement on the protection and safe return of refugees from Cameroon, Niger and Chad Republic to Nigeria has prompted the meeting of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees and the Minister of Interior in Abuja. Gabriel Odu brings us details.
Recently released humanitarian reports by National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, indicates that over 20,804 displaced Nigerians are living in the Republic of Chad, 80,709 in Republic of Cameroon, and 138,321 in the Niger Republic. By the principles of the tripartite agreement signed in March this year, the refugees must return voluntarily and with dignity.
And we are very worried about it, where people were not voluntarily returning to Nigeria. And this is a problem for the international community. It is a problem first and foremost for the people, but it's also a problem for the countries.
The moment the tripartite agreement was signed, it meant that all parties must abide by the principles of the tripartite.
We expect the principles of the agreement to be respected by both parties. On our own part, we have a very able and capable leader.
And this calls for very urgent, humanitarian protection and assistance.
Over 900 refugees were forcefully returned from the Republic of Cameroon.
We welcome our all-important committee.
You're watching NTA Nationwide. Preparation for statewide national immunization program gears up in Plateau State, and Femichit brings us details of this and more. It's over to you, Femichit.
And thank you for joining us in Jos. Plateau State's Operation Safe Haven Commander Major General Rogers Nicholas says security agencies are committed in tackling security challenges that will truncate peace and unity in the state. The commander stated this at the interagency route march by the Operation Safe Haven. Kim Gortz has the report.
The interagency route march saw security agencies in Plateau State kick off from the Operation Safe Haven headquarters down to Old Bukuru Park to Polo Runabout and culminated at the headquarters. Operation Safe Haven Commander Major General Rogers Nicholas, represented by the Chief of Staff Brigadier General Umar Musa, said the essence of the exercise is to enhance proficiency and synergy among security agencies in the state.
Essence of this interagency route march is to foster unity amongst the various security agencies across the country. Because conducting a route march means we are working together. And route march is part of training.
In preparation of the 1st of October celebration, Brigadier General Musa said they are ready to tackle any group or persons involved in violence.
At the highest level, a top meeting has been taking place, and we have also taken measures to ensure that peace is maintained on all areas.
Interagency route march is observed by all security agencies across the nation. In Jos, Kim Godds, NTA News.
Ahead of the National Immunization Plus Days, NIPD, scheduled for the 8th to the 11th July 2017, over 1 million doses of vaccines have been received for adequate coverage of the 17 local government areas of Plateau State. The State Social Mobilization Committee, after its meeting at the Plateau State Specialist Hospital, called on key players in the program to ensure the success of the exercise. Nenrot Nina Dinget has the details.
The meeting was held to discuss on the ways to forge ahead in respect of the upcoming National Immunization Plus Days. State Chairman of the committee, Mrs. Ruth Abu, called on members of the public, especially key players like the traditional rulers, religious heads, as well as parents and guardians, to take advantage of the exercise.
But our major challenge is when we send letters to churches and to mosques to notify parents and guardians that we're going out for immunization. Unfortunately, each time we move out, we still face some challenges of non-compliance.
The social mobilizers made separate contributions, capturing the level of their preparedness, adding that training at ward levels will be conducted before the exercise. UNICEF consultant Jagdomi Bubemi called on the social mobilizers as well as team members to compile a report on areas of achievements and challenges to be forwarded to the Plateau State Primary Healthcare Development Board.
We're able to meet with the governor on the issue of support in non-compliance cases. He gave us his word again that any school that refuses immunization should be reported. That school will be closed down.
The NIPDs, which is to last for a period of 4 days, commences from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the said days. In Jos, Nerot Nina Dinget, NTA News.
The National Coordinator Buhari Friends Organization Network, Athenius Okon, has urged Nigerians at all levels to join hands with the federal government in the fight against corruption. He was speaking at the inauguration of the North Central Zone chapter of the organization. Mary Domtur reports.
The Buhari Friends Organization Network came to limelight in 2013 with a project comprising like-minded Nigerians from the 6 geopolitical zones who believe in one country, advocating for peace, tolerance, justice, and an egalitarian society. National coordinator of the group, Athanasius Okun, enumerated the challenges the organization went through, but they were not deterred.
Ours is a complete departure of the old order. We work based on vision and identification with a sustainable ideology as presented by President Muhammadu Buhari in his call to service.
The Minister of Sports, Mr. Solomon Dalung, who was represented, charged the group to continue to preach the gospel of change, promote the ideologies of President Buhari, especially the anti-corruption war. High point of the event was the inauguration of the executives for Plateau State and the North Central Zone, with a charge on them to be dedicated. Zonal Women Leader, North Central, Amina Mekefi, and State Coordinator, Buhari Friends Organization Network, Mr. Amos Pam, promised to take the group to greater heights. Goodwill messages came from the Director, National Center for Women Development, Mrs. Mary Ebere Ita, who was represented, and the APC Women Leader, Plateau State, Mrs. Flores Binshep, in Jos. Mary Domtur, NTA News.
Resolving conflict and humiliation are considered major ingredients in international relations as they go beyond psychology built on a sociological fact. This formed part of a lecture by a renowned French specialist in international relations, Professor Bertrand Badi at the University of Jos. I covered the reports. Professor Bertrand Badi, who is visiting for the first time, said that it is impossible to teach international relations without visiting Nigeria. The lecturer revealed the importance of passions in the diplomatic game. Professor Badi's analysis focused on humiliation as a practice of the powerful and a feeling felt by the weak.
We are now in the world which is made and shaped by the weakness politics. The weak actors are now more proactive than the powerful actors.
The lecturer propounds that the worst kind of humiliation is found in the siege of colonialism, as he described the world presently as contradictory, which runs between the global and economic systems. The French scholar who linked humiliation to international relations, as some states often deny the legal status of others, stigmatize their practices and even their culture. Some forms of such humiliation, he said, are status lowering, status denying, starvation, and stigmatization. Dean Faculty of Arts, Professor Toy Rakpu, explained that the lecture is part of cross-cultural dialogue series. And it's a wrap from Jos. It's back to you in Abuja for more news.
Thank you, Famichit. Now, people living with sickle cell anemia have held an awareness work in Abuja to sensitize the public on the preventive measures to the disease. Kunle Adeye reports that the work started at UTC in Area 10 and terminated at Area 2.
Sickle cell is a genetic disease that is inherited from both parents as a result of red blood cell abnormality. Though preventable, sickle cell anemia has continued to be in existence due to lack of awareness, especially amongst people in rural areas. Records have it that there are more than 2 million people that are carriers of the trait of sickle cell who stand the risk of passing it to their offspring. It is to enlighten such people and save them the social and economic trauma that the Maitama Foundation is out on the street. Rabbi Maitama, who has been battling sickle cell anemia for decades, is leading the campaign. Maitama wants other sickle cell patients to join the vanguard and encourage intending couples to go for necessary tests before sealing the union.
We need a policy on sickle cell. We need help. At least let folic acid be free for every sickle cell patient. We're millions now in Nigeria.
Rabbi's mother couldn't agree any less. She wants emphasis to be laid on advocacy, hospital visits, free genotype tests, data collection and registration, as well as free drug distribution. Already some mosques and churches have made it a criteria the presentation of medical certificates giving clean bill of health to couple before contracting marriages. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
This is NTA Nationwide. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. We'll now take a break to bring you some messages. Nationwide returns shortly. Stay with us.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
What is the place of National Health Insurance Scheme in enhancing the health status of Nigerians? What is the journey so far? This is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live. Tuesday Live, incisive, informative, and educating. Join us.
Law on Prevention and Detection of Crimes by the Police in Nigeria by Dr. Solomon Ehigiato Arasi, former Inspector General of Police, Federal Republic of Nigeria, on Tuesday, 4th July 2017 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Venue, Congress Hall, Transcorp Hilton, Abuja. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Professor Yemi Oshinbajo, GCON Acting President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Chairman, His Excellency Mr. Donald Duke. His Excellency Godwin Obase State. Major General Babagana Mongonu, National Security Advisor. General Gabriel Olonishakin, Chief of Defense Staff. All service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police, all former Inspectors General of Police. Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Majesty Oba Ewari II, Oba of Benin Kingdom. Public presentation of the book, Law on Prevention and Detection of Crimes by the Police in Nigeria. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
The Future Assured project of the wife of the President, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, is carrying out free medical screening and distribution of food items at various IDP camps while ensuring the economic empowerment of women through training and skill acquisition. In recognition of her efforts, wives of governors have lent their voices and support.
In Kogi State, we feel the impact of Future Assured, especially in women and children.
The Future Assured program of Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, the wife of the President, has been very assuring and still reassuring in Sokoto State. It has impacted positively in the areas of humanity, especially women and children.
Supports the Future Assured initiative. Email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
Olufun Art Gallery, in conjunction with the Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union, Ratawo, presents International Arts Exhibition 2017 from 7th July 2017. Venue, Arts and Craft Village, Transcorp Hilton, Abuja. Opening ceremony is on Friday, 7th July 2017. Special guest of honor, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo San, Acting President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Chairman of Occasion, Professor Jerry Ghana, CON, former Minister of Information. Chief Host, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture. Host, Alhaji Bello Mohammed, Honorable Minister of FCT. Guest speakers, Otumba Olusegun Renshewe, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. Chief Otumba Shegun Adebayo and Princess Dr. Ebunoluwa Bosade Oladumi, JP, CEO Starcrest Nigerian Limited. Come and exhibit your textiles, graphic arts, music and dance. Get your stands now. For more information and participation, contact 080-660-81221 or 090-8077-7732 or 080-345-37369. International Arts Exhibition 2017, exhibiting talent and creativity.
This is The Place.
This is where you make that bold move.
This is where it all happens.
This is where dreams are made. Join us every Sunday from 6:30 p.m. on NTA and Star Times. Be part of Nigeria's biggest game show event.
Give and take.
Win big. Live your dreams.
The power to win is within.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Nationwide. We still have more on the death of Dr. Yusuf Maitama Sule. Speaker of the House of Representatives has described the death of Yusuf Maitama Sule as a great loss to Africa. In a statement by his special advisor on media, Turaki Hassan, the Speaker described the late Maitama Sule as a patriot and icon of peace who was committed to the peace and unity of Nigeria even at old age. He condoled the family of the late elder statesman and the people of Kano State and prayed God to grant his soul eternal rest. In the meantime, sympathizers have been trooping to the residence of the late Amasen Kano, Dr. Yusuf Maitama Sule, to pay their condolences over. Our correspondent, Mohammed Rabiu Ali, is joining us from Kano for a situation report. Mohammed, what is the situation there right now?
Thank you, studio. Right here, I'm inside the late Yusuf Maitama Sule's residence at Dewaki Road in the ancient city of Kano. And as you can see behind me, the early mourners who are trooping, to condole with his family. With me are some of the early mourners who can talk about the, the late Alhaji Yusuf Maitama Sule. Please, we'd like to hear from you.
Very shocking news, but as a Muslim, we know that is the final end of every individual, and may his soul rest in perfect peace. I have to say that I knew Damasani as a student in Provincial Secondary School 1956. He taught us history and English. He is a very patriotic person. Love of his country is first. He is not a person that takes position in order to reach himself. He served not to be served. He worked for his country. And up to today, I have never known that Lamasari, from his position as a minister to the day he died, he has an account in a bank in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would also like to hear from the retired Colonel Jafar Isa. Colonel, you are here to condole the family.
Yes, please.
This message?
Well, it was a great shock, even though as a human being and a believer, I know that death is on the neck of every living thing, particularly human. But I take solace in the fact that God in the Quran has told us that all living things will one day test the bitterness of death. His own came as a great shock to me. Never expected it, and it came at a time that when Damasen Kano was greatly needed by the country, at a time when we have a lot of crises that have been generated in the country.
And with me here is the eldest son of late Damasen Kano, Alhaji Yusuf Maitama Sule. So I would like to hear from you. What's the the funeral arrangement of the deceased?
He died in Cairo, and the corpse will be flown in tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and the funeral rites will take place 4 o'clock at Emir's Palace.
So that has been the the schedule.
That's the schedule for now.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That has been the eldest son of late Yusuf Maitama Sule, Damasen Kano. And it may interest you to know that Kano State Governor has declared tomorrow, Tuesday, as work-free day, to mourn the late Damasen Kano here in Kano. Back to you in the studio.
Mohammed in Kano, thank you very much for updating us. Now, medical outreach to inmates of Agodi prisons plus inauguration of the Southwest Legislative Forum Committee. Details as we join Kemi in Ibadan. It's over to you, Kemi.
Elizabeth, good afternoon and welcome to Ibadan. The Southwest Legislative Reform Implementation Committee has been inaugurated to strengthen legislative functions and ensure unity in the region. The inauguration was held at the Western Hall, Oyo State House of Assembly Complex, Ibadan. Inaugurating the committee, the Deputy Chairman, Southwest Zone Conference of Speakers and Speaker, Oyo State House of Assembly, Michael Adeyemo, said it is imperative for Southwest legislatures to be united and speak in one voice for the overall development of the region. He added that the committee will be saddled with the responsibility of harnessing and synergizing legislative practices and procedures in Western Nigeria.
Able to take a common position on national issues as a House of Assemblies in the Southwest.
Some members of the committee said there cannot be a more auspicious time than now to validate legislative reform solutions in the region.
There is need for this true federalism. There's need for this regional integration so that we can be speaking with one voice.
This is far more than politics. It's about how we can move this region forward in the areas of education, the areas of agriculture, and others.
The committee was born out of the communique generated from the meeting of the leadership and management of the Southwest State Houses of Assembly held in December 2016. Over 150 inmates of Agodi Prison in Ibadan have benefited from a medical outreach by Oyo State Ministry of Justice in collaboration with Nigeria Bar Association, Nigeria Medical Association, and University College Hospital, Ibadan. Ayomiko Ajibola has the details.
Some of the free medical tests conducted on the inmates include that of HIV, blood test, sugar level, hypertension, malaria parasite, among others. The reason for the free medical outreach, according to the organizers, is to be able to identify inmates that will be recommended to your state government for pardon based on aid grant in order to decongest the prison.
It's a good collaboration, professional collaboration, instead of fighting. This is how we should come together and make a difference.
We've been brought in to help assess these inmates, to identify those who are critically ill, and to recommend some of them to the ministry as well as the Nigerian Bar Association for some efforts that may result in their being released.
We initiated last year a prison intervention and decongestion initiative under my office, and part of what we have been doing is to be able to create a mass prosecution regime so that we can substantially reduce their waiting trial limits.
We train them in so many ways so that they will be better off when they leave the prison.
A total of 150 inmates benefited from the free medical outreach in Ibadan. Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Whenever there is heavy rainfall in Ibadan, the city experiences flooding due to blocked water channels and drainages. The recent flooding may have prompted the state government to plan to correct the anomaly. Femi Afolabi reports.
Following the recent flooding in Ibadan, which was partly blamed on erection of structures along water channels and disruption of free flow of water, Oyo State government may have decided to correct the anomaly frontally. A number of structures which had been marked for demolition are still standing.
People that are building houses now, they don't give consideration for drainage. And that was why the government felt that there must be Ibadan City drainage master plan.
Most of the affected areas are structures or buildings that shouldn't really be there. So that's the first step. We need to clear those buildings to avoid another disaster.
Occupants of the buildings said they are not unaware of the inherent dangers, but they have gotten no alternative accommodation.
We saw the notice, and there's nothing to do than to cooperate with the government. That's why we are demolishing by ourselves.
There's no any form of agreement or any form of understanding between the government and the people.
The state government has embarked on the fresh enumeration of structures that are prone to flooding. As soon as we complete that exercise, we will be able to let the public know the total number of structures that will have to be demolished.
Environmental experts suggest that government should assist the victims relocate in time to prevent imminent loss of lives and property. In Ibadan, Femi Afolabi, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, Kemi. Now, Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, is ready for official switch over to digital television. Members of the House Committee on Digital Switchover are in NTA Ilorin ahead of the digital switchover takeoff to ascertain the readiness for the era of television viewing. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday joins us from Ilorin. Adebola, what are the findings of House members?
In Ilorin to ascertain the level of preparedness of ITS, talking about the digital switchover in Kwara State. I'm being joined here by Honorable Chris Azubo, who is standing in or representing the chairman of the committee. Sir, you've gone round, you've seen the analog, you've seen the digital. What do you have to say?
Thank you very much. I want to tell Nigerians that the digital switchover, which has been proposed to take off in Ilorin, is well and ready to roll out on time, because the equipment is here. We've seen the level of preparedness. We've met ITS, which is the signal distributor that is allowed to operate here, and we've asked some critical questions, and they provided answers, and we are sure from what they have said that they are ready, and we've already observed and witnessed that they are truly, because the equipments are there, what to do to protect the equipment and the reach. What is left is for the state to tell us when the switchover is done, because their parent company, NTA, has done quite a lot. So I think they are well and ready to hit the ground.
All right, at a point I saw you doing most of the listening, watching the channels being changed from one to another. What can you say about this, the quality of the signal you saw here?
We believe that they are ready. We are impressed with the quality of TV, at least. I saw AIT on it, I saw NTA, Ilorin, I saw the national NTA, and I saw TVC. At least these are critical ones. Even the free TV that I have in the box I have in Abuja, and the quality of signals I have here is very, very impressive. And I'm sure if from within this transmitter, based on their coverage area, that people can receive same quality of signal, I think we are good to go.
And that is the studio. As soon as event unfolds, talking about their duration here, I will still be updating you.
Thank you, Debola, for keeping us posted. Now, ensuring effective policing of the nation's maritime domain is receiving the needed attention by key players in the sector. This was during a meeting between the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, and the Managing Director, Nigerian Ports Authority in Abuja, to address contentious issues in their areas of operations. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma reports.
In the last 15 months, the Nigerian Navy, through its choke point strategy, has intensified the war against sea pirates and robbers. This strategy has brought about encouraging return of merchant vessels on Nigeria's territorial waters. To complement this effort by the Navy, the Nigerian Ports Authority and other government institutions in the maritime sector are assisting in the activation of a forward operating base in Takwa Bay around the Lagos area. This meeting is to harmonize the interest of the parties involved.
The Nigerian Ports Authority has made a budgetary provision for the development of the FOB in the 2017 budget. We're here today to obtain the relevant engineering drawings to enable us commence development of the FOB in 2017.
The Chief of Naval Staff says with the success of the choke point strategy, the Navy is taking maritime security to the next level with its safe transit corridor policy.
With the task force, we're able to bring down the incidences of piracy and sea robbery to the barest minimum. But then there are some other stakeholders out there that require that we give special protection to their consignments. And so here we have provided ships that will escort such ships beyond the areas that the task group is concentrating its security and patrols.
Meanwhile, the Warri and Calabar channels, the CNS say, are difficult to navigate and would need the support of key players to make operations in the area easier. In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Let's make another stop in Maiduguri with Naomi. Top on their lineup, Nigeria Air Force medical outreach to IDP camps. Naomi, how is Maiduguri today?
Elizabeth, Maiduguri is okay and welcome. A 2-day Nigerian Army Finance Corps training, jointly organized by the 7 and 8 Divisions Area of Responsibilities, has ended in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Maimuna Garba reports.
The training is the maiden edition of the Nigerian Army Finance Corps in 7 and 8 Divisions Areas of Responsibilities, and the last in the series of training which started 4 weeks across the military divisions, aimed at equipping personnel with necessary professional skills. General Officer Commanding 7 Division, Brigadier General Ibrahim Manu Yusuf, while declaring the training open, said the program is continuous, focusing on contemporary issues regarding participants' professional and personal lives.
The theme of this training was carefully coined from the vision of the Chief of Accounts and Budgets of the Nigerian Army.
Commander Finance and Account 7 Division, Colonel Jacob Adeniran, said the training was organized with a mission to create an environment for prudent and transparent application of financial resources toward a professionally responsive Nigerian Army. A paper presented by Lieutenant Colonel Ahmed Lawal dwelt on social and security implications of the Nigerian Army in perspective. Meanwhile, as part of activities marking the Nigerian Army Day celebration, a special Jumu'at prayer was held in honor of soldiers who died in the course of serving their fatherland. A similar interdenominational church service was held with a call on officers to remain steady and focused throughout the insurgency war. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force, through its medical branch, has organized yet another medical outreach at Banki IDP's camp in Borno State. The medical outreach was initiated by the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, based on a report about the deplorable medical condition of the IDPs. Abubakar Muhammad Musa reports.
Banki is a border town with Cameroon that has about 42,000 internally displaced persons. During the 2-day medical outreach, the team attended to many health cases, among which were 4 minor surgeries on 3 children and 1 adult, 3 deliveries and a lot of malaria, typhoid and diarrhea cases among the children. Additionally, cases of cataract and other eye-related problems were also attended to. The NAF medical team also conducted training program on family planning and contraceptives for staff of Borno State Primary Healthcare Development Agency and UNICEF in order to handle the high-risk pregnancy noticed among many women in the camp. It will be recalled that the NAF, under the leadership of Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, has taken serious steps to address the issue of healthcare delivery in the IDP camps. 2 emergency hospitals were embedded at Dalori and Bama IDP camps, and several medical outreaches had been conducted at Goza, Benishek, Mainok and Jakana IDP camps, all in Borno State. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Muhammad Musa, NTA News.
The dislodgement of Boko Haram terrorists from Sambisa Forest and other areas by the Nigerian military is posing a great challenge to farming activities on the outskirts of Maiduguri, where most farmlands are located. Pauline Kujevana reports that farmers have resorted to computing over every piece of land within Maiduguri metropolis.
The spate of attacks on the outskirts of Maiduguri by Boko Haram terrorists who were dislodged from their stronghold by the Nigerian military is sending fresh warnings and fear to farmers, thereby compelling them to resort to farming within the metropolis where they are sure of their safety.
They could have gone far as Mulai or even go to Chibok to go and farm. But because of the insecurity, that's the reason why I choose to farm where I'm scared.
So it's better you farm close to your house where you can have peace of mind instead of farming and then maybe RPG or any form of flying bullet would come and hit you.
Yours sincerely is in the outskirts of Maiduguri, where farming activities took place last year. As you can see, it's all deserted. But for those in the southern part of the state, farming has commenced in earnest as some farmers are through with planting, with the increased rainfall recently being experienced in the state. Though also partially affected by the insurgency, most part of the area will be able to engage in farming, and even some part of northern Borno.
Even in the areas where we cannot farm, we've gone into the military, we've discussed with them. They've even given us some areas that we are from here to about 5-10 kilometers you can do some farming. So they demarcated some areas for us, and we've been strictly adhering to that, and we're going to do some farming activities there.
However, with military operation going on in the areas posing threat to residents, most are hopeful the situation will improve very soon. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
That does it from Maiduguri. Is back to Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you, Naomi. The recently launched Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration (VAT) scheme by the federal government is an opportunity for Nigerians, particularly those with investment outside the shores of Nigeria, to file their tax returns without penalty. The chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Babatunde Fowler, made the clarification on Business Express, an NTA program on the economy.
Us have information on some of its citizens who have properties, who have investments abroad. So apart from us requesting, before we actually start investigating corporate organizations and individuals, it's an opportunity for them to just come on their own and declare these incomes.
Let's now join Homini Oden with foreign news.
We begin this segment with reports from Africa. African G5 countries comprising Mali, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, Niger and Chad have formally launched a new multinational military force in the Sahel. The new force will operate in coordination with French troops to checkmate terrorists in the region. Zimbabwean farmers have donated